Welcome to the Digital Edge. Get ready, because today we are diving straight into the really fascinating world of AI. Specifically, we're looking at Meta, their plans, their progress. What's going on over there?
Yeah, it's huge. We've got some great insight from that recent chat Mark Zuckerberg had on Dorkesh Patel's YouTube channel.
Right, the Meta's AGI plan discussion. Perfect source for us.
Absolutely, because Meta, with its billions of users,
Yeah.
they're in such a unique position. It's not just about building AI, it's about putting it into, everyday life.
Exactly. So our mission today is to kind of cut through the noise and really pull out the key stuff. What's the strategy? What are these new models? Where are they headed?
Let's jump in. Llama 4 is probably the place to start.
Okay, Llama 4, they've launched some initial models.
Yeah, Scout and Maverick. And what's interesting is their design, they're kind of mid-sized to smaller. They handle different types of info, so multimodal.
Built-in multimodal, okay.
Right. And crucially, built for efficiency, low latency, quick responses. They use them internally first, then open them up.
And there's more coming, like the Llama 3 rollout.
Yep, an 8 billion parameter one, little llama, is coming. But then there's the big one, Behemoth.
Over 2 trillion parameters. That sounds impractical. How do developers even use something that massive?
Well, that's the thing. They know a raw 2 trillion parameter model isn't really usable day to day. The plan is distillation.
Distillation. So shrinking it down.
Exactly. Taking that core intelligence and packing it into models that are actually useful for apps, for developers, making the power accessible.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about the whole open source versus closed source thing? Feels like the gap's widening, but Zuckerberg seemed to push back on that.
He did. His view is that actually it's been a pretty good year for open source overall. Lots of innovative models out there, not just Llama.
So it's not just about scale.
Not entirely. He talked about specialization. Some models getting really good at reasoning, which can be slow or expensive, right? Meta, though, for their consumer stuff, they're really focused on intelligence per cost.
Speed and efficiency for products.
Precisely. Low latency is key. They are working on a Llama 4 reasoning model, but the immediate product focus is speed.
And how are they measuring success then, if it's not just standard benchmarks like Chatbot Arena?
Yeah, he pointed out those benchmarks can be, well, limited. They don't always show real-world value.
Right. You can game a benchmark sometimes.
Exactly. Meta's main benchmark is simply, are users getting value from it in Meta AI products? That's their yardstick. Does it actually work well for people?
So user value is the primary goal. What's the ultimate North Star guiding all this? Is it just AGI?
Well, general intelligence is the big ambition for everyone, sure. But Meta's specific focus, their North Star, is about making interaction quick, natural, multimodal. Think phones, messaging apps, eventually glasses, AI devices, making AI a seamless part of your day.
Like that voice demo in the new Meta AI app. That was pretty impressive.
Exactly that. Full duplex, natural conversation. That's the vision.
Which brings us to this idea of AI helping build better AI, accelerating the process. Zuckerberg seemed keen on this.
Very keen. They're putting serious effort into coding agents, like their internal tool, MetaMate.
MetaMate, using AI to speed up Llama research itself?
Precisely. He even predicted that within, 12, 18 months, AI might be writing most of the code for these projects, not just autocomplete, but actually writing code.
Wow. That's a big shift.
It is. Though he also cautioned it's not the whole game. There's so much more to AI development than just coding speed.
Like the physical infrastructure, maybe? He seemed less convinced about a super fast takeoff.
Right. He emphasized the physical constraints. Building out compute clusters, getting the energy. That takes time. Real-world bottlenecks.
So even if AI can design the perfect system,
You still need to actually build it, test it, deploy it. You used ad ranking experiments as an example. Even with AI, compute and testing limits are real. It's coevolution of the tech and our ability to use it.
and Meta has that massive distribution advantage.
Yeah.
Billions of users. How does that play into things?
Hugely. Meta AI is apparently getting significant use, especially in WhatsApp outside the U.S. The standalone app is key for the U.S. market.
Are there concerns about getting the right kind of data through those platforms, like for specialized tasks, say coding?
It's a valid question, but their internal efforts, like with MetaMate, suggest they're tackling that directly. And Zuckerberg stressed AI isn't just for knowledge work. Think entertainment, social connection, Meta's bread and butter.
That leads to another interesting area, people actually forming relationships with AI.
Yeah, it's happening. People using AI as therapists, friends, even getting help with difficult conversations.
He mentioned that stat about how few close friends the average American has, AI filling a gap potentially.
Potentially providing more connection, yes.
Yeah.
And he hinted at the future with things like Reality Labs codec avatars, making AI interactions feel more embodied, more real.
But with all this power, how do they balance innovation with, the potential downsides? Like AI designed just to grab our attention.
That's a critical point. He mentioned designing the Ray-Ban Meta glasses to be useful even without the AI constantly active. The goal isn't constant engagement, but seamless blending when needed. Holographic overlays, not just attention traps.
Okay. And the global picture. Competition, especially with China investing heavily in infrastructure.
He acknowledged the competition, definitely, and how things like U.S. chip export controls have forced companies like DeepSeek to optimize differently.
But he felt Llama 4 stacks up well.
Yeah, especially comparing its multimodal abilities and cost-effectiveness against text-only models. It's about that cost per intelligence metric again.
Let's touch on licensing. Sam Altman announced an open source reasoning model. Meta's Llama license has that clause for big cloud companies, right?
It does. The requirement to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg's take was, it's not meant to be overly burdensome right now, more about opening a dialogue.
But they might change it if it hinders adoption.
He indicated they'd reevaluate, yeah. It's part of that ongoing debate about what open source really means in the AI space.
So why is it so crucial for Meta to build their own models anyway? Why not just use Claude or something else?
Strategic control, basically. He argued no other model quite fits their specific needs across all their different products, especially balancing size, speed, and capabilities.
Tailoring it precisely.
Exactly. They might use others for some internal things, but Llama is core. Plus, he raised the point about the health of the open source ecosystem if Meta stopped contributing.
And the idea of American models setting a standard. Embedded values, security risks.
That came up too. And the importance of distillation, again, creating efficient models, potentially even distilling from multiple open source models, though that has security challenges they're researching.
Okay, almost there. Monetization. How does all this eventually pay for itself? Still ads.
Ads will likely remain key for free services, according to Zuckerberg. But he also sees potential for premium tiers, especially for high compute advanced AI features. The goal is serving as many people as possible, so likely a mix.
So wrapping up, what's the overarching strategy? It feels like Zuckerberg is really hands-on here.
Definitely. He's focused on talent, collaboration, infrastructure, quality, and emphasizing that it's still very much research and model-led, not just product-led.
And the potential impact, that 100x productivity increase in software.
Yeah, imagine that. He sees it unlocking massive creativity, maybe shifting focus towards culture, entertainment, social connections, alongside solving big problems.
And maybe even more demand for human workers in some areas.
Counterintuitively, yes. Like customer support becoming affordable at scale thanks to AI assistance, potentially creating more jobs, not fewer.
Wow. Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. Meta's AI plans are ambitious, to say the least.
They really are. The commitment to open source, the focus on user experience, the long-term vision. It's impressive stuff.
Definitely. So a final thought for you listening. With all these rapid advancements, from coding agents to AI companions, what aspect of AI's evolution do you find most compelling, or maybe even concerning, for how we'll live and interact in the future? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us on The Digital Edge.